All right, next up is Tom Stolmar, who I think was there every single Sunday.
Read the poem, Stolmar.
So I'm super happy to see you here. Yeah.
Read the poem, Stolmar.
I'm still there.
Backflip.
Somebody knows me. I'm in between lenses right now, I'm sorry. Well, you have to bear with that much.
Yeah, we had that problem back in the day.
I was going to say, this is a new routine, Tom.
It's all new every day, but believe me, it's true. This poem is entitled Historically Significant, Relevant to the aforementioned poetry readings by the other contestants in the show. This was called My Poetic Voice. I worked long and hard on this poem. For barbarians everywhere. I found my poetic voice through bitter, vile, acrid rage. On poetry stages from San Francisco to the Poetry Slam disco, I found my poetic voice unreadable, crestfallen, dank and dusted in the dim, dark doorways of alliteration, automatopoetic and pissed off with the neo-beat Brad Kerouac wannabes. My poetic voice was wired shut behind the bleeding hands of the wounded sturgeon at the T.S. Eliot Memorial Hospital. Out of my mind on morphine and speed and on Walla and crack, my poetic vice was deployed on a million non-poetic job sites with the boneheaded idiots of the Rush Limbo Society, laying brick and copper and rebar with the machinery of the Big Four, quick and easy can-do tool masters. My poetic voice was nailed 3 inches on center and 10 in the field. And now it seems to be my poetic voice has become a business of poetics, a carrot before the salad bar's shredded voicemail and eternal ass-kissing nonsense, neutered before it had the least interest in sexual politics. At New College. My outgoing message is seeking a second opinion before sinking quietly to the bottom of psychiatric seas. Breathe. My poetic voice was found making friends in very low places, climbing social ladders before your very eyes. My poetic voice is a turbo-caffeinated nightmare of insomnia that wakes right here where it began in this neo-bebop, post-hip-hop shop and drop theory service in Madison Avenue. Madison Avenue. My poetic voice is strangled by the high-wired acts of bi-coastal bullshitters, spitting and splitting up angel hair pastas over at Dean and DeLucas. What seems to be the buy right at this point, I have no idea in my head. Over a day, my poetic voice was constipated on the toilet of indecision. For my gastrointestinal problem, the inconspicuous consumption of diuretic incestinas. My four-letter voice was barred from academia for sexually explicit and unpredictable by the academia sluts in their little rut huts, stroking and smoking up 9 holes with little poetry pots, resting on Prozac and pretty prosy Kodak Snapchats. You're away! You get that from the New Gods. Comes from Europa. Oh my God, I found my poetic voice high as kites with friends reading Stevens and Dickinson and Berryman and Stein. I was told AT&T was my true voice. Yeah. And my credit was maxed, my license revoked, and my tongue twisted and tied. My poetic voice was shrink-wrapped in a safe way of intellectual merchandise, where it sits right now on a shelf, listening to young girls discussing Heimlich maneuvers and nursing poetic hangovers. My poetic voice was diagnosed with terminal, prophylactic, delirium etcetera because this goddamn poem, in the form of barbarian poetry of all kinds, my poetic voice could go on, David, out there forever, in extremis, to be continued, edited, not...
So you haven't managed to slow him down at all.
It's a pleasure to see Tom Stolmar is still in fine form. Very nice. All right, Daphne Gottlieb, are you still here? Where's Daphne? Oh, there she is. Manatee published a collection of Daphne's poem called 15 Ways to Stay Alive. And that came out... Okay, there you go. Okay, please welcome Daphne Gottlieb.
So it is an absolute pleasure to see so many of you that I haven't seen in so long. I think one of the most important things that came out of poetry about paradise to me was a sense of community. Meaning, I will stab you in the back, but I will defend you to the death. And it's amazing to see you all. One of the things that I miss is, there would be a poem and you'd write back to that poem and they'd write back to your poem. The way these things happen around poems physically, don't actually hit each other. And I haven't had to do that in a really long time, except for recently, when I was at this reading and this woman did this thing she called homeless haiku, and it went like this. If the shopping carts are rockin', don't come a knockin'. So this is for her. 1. You were a teenager. You had one condom and nowhere to go. This is nothing like that. Homelessness is transmitted through body fluids, through sharing work, through kissing, public toilets, through thought, through seeing, don't see it, don't touch. Sex is a luxury the way the moon is a luxury, meaning that it's always there, but it needs time and space to be yours. And the incontinent man in a wheelchair, the woman with scabies or lice whose pants don't close has no space. The 2 men collecting cans before dawn, arms caked with garbage cans. The immaculate woman working 2 jobs and sitting up all night in a drop-in. The man talking to himself, to the moon, to God. God is too busy to have genitals. God is just trying to survive. Desire has no home. The homeless have bodies. Is there love during wartime? And is this anything else too? Nothing was rocking. There was no door to knock. The woman was raped. The police report, and so what? Move the body from the center to the side now. Move the body farther, move it harder. Move the body across the city in bare feet. Move it into the shadows, move it in police citations, move it into shelters, or still in the streets, hands together. The body stays warmer if it moves. Move it under blankets, hand in hand, it's warmer. Stay close. The raped woman is so hot. She's burning up. Let's start again. That's about violence, not sex. Not love. Not the moon, the silver coin in night's palm, a hand that can hold and kiss, and in doorways and alleys and parks and anywhere else people will fuck, there is desire. And sometimes, love. 3. Nothing was rocking. If you got it on you, the body stays warmer. Move it into the streets. Don't come knocking. Burn it down.